Now that's a dumb comment. And welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline, and today we are going to look at some really dumb comments that all of us with chronic illness are really sick of getting, and also how to respond. I think I speak for every person on this planet with chronic illness when I say that there are comments out there that we are so sick of getting from people. And today I am going to take 3 very common ones and also give you a line to say in response to that comment. Let's start with this comment: you don't look sick. Well, first of all, I know I'm like unbelievably beautiful. I'm pretty sure that if you suffer from chronic illness, this is a comment you have heard before. And it's a very kind of a weird comment in my opinion, because it's like, I don't look sick. Well, okay, so you're telling me that I'm not sick because I don't look it? Like, where are, like, I'm pretty sure that the way people believe you should look when you're sick is the same way a person who is going through chemotherapy looks. You know, very pale, often very skinny. A lot of people loses their hair and everything, and it's very clear to everyone that this person is not well. And I think that's how people think you're supposed to look. There should be no doubt. Everybody should look at you and they should just instantly be able to see that you are sick. However, this is obviously not the case. Like most people who actually live with illness, you can't tell by the way they look. Most people look normal. So how do you respond when someone says, well, you don't look sick? Well, obviously it's completely up to you and what type of a person you are. But a really good way to answer these kind of questions is with a question. And if you can throw a little sarcasm in there, it's always really good. So one question you could ask back is, oh really? Well, you know, how am I supposed to look? Because maybe I can talk to my illnesses about it and then we can work on it. That's a question that really throws back in people's face what they're actually saying. They are invalidating your illness basically, because you don't look sick, so you're not sick. In this way, you are really throwing it back in their face. Well, why would you say that? How am I supposed to look? I'll work on it. Another way to respond to, well, you don't really look sick, is also just to own it. Own the fact that you don't look sick. Just say something like, oh, well, thank you. I know I'm so beautiful that, you know, not even illnesses can make me look bad. Something like that could also be a very sassy way to come back from it. And the thing about sarcasm and being a little bit over dramatic in the way you respond is that for some reason it gets the point across a bit more. The next comment that I'm pretty sure you have all heard, if you are a younger person like myself, is that you're too young to be sick. Could you please tell my illnesses that? Because I don't think they know that I'm not supposed to be sick. So, you know, tell them to wait 50 years or something. This comment is just like so illogical for me. I don't know how this myth that young people don't get sick came to life. I mean, you've never been sick with the flu in your 20s? I also feel like we live in a time where we're getting better at diagnosing people. So I feel like almost everyone knows someone who has something. So it's like, it can't only be your grandparents, right? I mean, but as you might know, if you are one of the young people with chronic illness like me, you know it's not the truth. And doctors would tell you it's not the truth. Scientists would tell you it's not the truth. People who have children who are sick will tell you it's not the truth. Like I said, it's so unlogical. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. It really bothers me when people tell me that I'm too young to be sick, because it's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I'm sick. I mean, it's such an insensitive question, really, because you're totally invalidating that I'm sick. Like, there must be something completely wrong with your DNA, right? Because how can you be sick when you're young? Like, you're not supposed to be sick. Like, I don't know what's going on in people's head. I actually had an experience when I was working at the pharmacy. There was this middle-aged man, I would say, maybe a little above, maybe late 50s or something like that. And he came in and he was to pick up all of his meds that he had on prescription. And he was taking many different types of medications. It was a lot. I understand his frustrations with having to take that many pills. And he told me that. He said to me, I'm so sick of taking medicine. And I said to him, as the nice person who really did understand, that I completely understand that. And I did, because at that time I wasn't diagnosed with ADD yet, but I was diagnosed with IBD. So I was taking medicine myself, and I at that time had started my biological treatment with an injection that I had to pick up in the hospital. So I did understand what it's like to take a lot of medicine and be sick of it. And he was very frustrated. So he very angrily said to me, you have no idea what that's like. You're too young and healthy for that. And he was really insulted by my comment, because he really believed that I would have no clue because I was young. And I understood that it came from frustration. I understood it didn't come from him trying to be mean to me. So I with a smile on my face, I wasn't thinking with a smile on my face, I'll say that, but with a smile on my face, I told him that I actually really do understand, because I have a bowel disease. And the medicine that I'm taking is an injection that I have to pick up at the hospital. I can't even buy it in the pharmacy. So I know everything about being sick of taking medicine. He got very quiet after that. But the point in telling that story is you are actually allowed to say something back. And some comments that I can think of, you could say to people who say that you're too young to be sick. One thing is, depending a little bit on who you are again, but you could say, could you tell my illness is that? I don't think they are aware of it. That's one comment. Insinuating that, well, I do have these illnesses and they apparently don't know that I'm too young. So like that's a really good way of, again, putting people into their place, making them understand what it is they're actually saying to you. If you don't want to be too sassy, you could also ask a question like, why do you think I'm too young to be sick? Because when you ask questions back like that, and people, they start to realize they don't even really know why they think that. They start to realize that they have no source for that claim, that it's just something they have believed their entire life, that is not something they ever questioned. And they might, if you're lucky, be like, I actually don't know. Like, I have no idea. I have no idea why you're too young. I just didn't think that young people got sick like that. And you could say, well, we do. Like, that's, you know. So that's also another way to handle that comment. The last comment I want to mention is also a very common one, especially nowadays, to be honest with you. It's something like, do you really need to take all that medicine? Let me tell you a secret. I don't. I just think it's fun to experiment with it, and my doctor thinks it's fun too. So we just try to see what happens when healthy people get all types of medicine. Nobody takes medicine for fun. Doctors don't give people medicine for fun. It's not a thing. Again, a very insensitive comment that is basically invalidating your illnesses. Like telling you, are you really sure you need all this medicine, is, you know, doubting that you're actually sick. And not having any kind of understanding what it's like to be sick. In my experience, people who say this, they've never been really, really sick because they don't know what it's like to have their life saved by medicine. So it's, you know, we all know the type, don't we? Again, ways to respond depends on who you are. You want to be a little sassy, or do you just want to be a little more low-key? But a very sassy comment could be, oh, you don't think I need all the medicine that I'm taking? Could you call my doctor and tell him that he's wrong? Because I mean, obviously you know more than my doctor, who has an education in it. That's a very sassy comment. And some people might be a little bit provoked by it, but it does tell people that they don't know what they're talking about. It's a different way of telling them, in a little bit of a sarcastic way, you actually don't know what you're talking about. Why are you asking me that? That's one way to go. Another sassy way to go, but a little more low-key, is simply just asking, are you a doctor? And when they say no, you say, okay, so we agree, you don't really know what you're talking about. If you want to go a little bit more low-key, you could say something like, well, what makes you think that I take medicine for fun? Again, throw a question back at them, because it will always make people think, and they will be like, I actually don't know why. I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's really good to answer a question with a question in these situations. You could also ask something like, well, you know, I've been thinking that myself. And since it sounds like you know so much about my illness and my medicines, why don't you tell me what my illness is and why I shouldn't take all these medicines and what I should do instead? And let's see if they know the facts, and they probably don't. And if people start talking about herbs and all that kind of crap when you say that, a really good way to go is also to say, do you have any valid, recognized studies that conclude that that would make a difference? And they probably don't. They probably do have studies, but then you can question, are they valid? Is that a valid study? Who made the study? Who paid for the study? How many people did they test this on? And so on and so on and so on. Do the people who claim this have any education that makes them credible? Like, you can start going into a discussion like that with these types of people, but that's, let's face it, that's a whole nother video in how to handle herb fans. I don't know what to call them. My point of this little video was to, well, first of all, talk a little bit about all these dumb things people say to us when we have chronic illness, but also just to give you a few ideas of how to answer back. And I hope you have the courage to do that, because you are entitled to. I always say, if people ask a stupid question, you can answer them stupidly. So everyone, that was today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and also turn on notifications. And you can also go follow me on my Instagram. That's also called The Art of Being Ill. I hope you all have a blessed rest of the day, and I'll see you next time right here on my channel.